let's start going through the pile of finished knits beside me. Hi there, and welcome to the third episode of Rustic Knits Podcast. The third regular episode. The last one was a Homeland special. I'm Sanni, better known as Sanni Pauliina in the knitting world, and I'm a full-time knitwear designer from a small town in Finland. And this is my little corner here on the tube, chatting about all the knitty things, what I have on the needles and what I have finished and what I have published. Last time I was chatting all about my Homeland collection. It was the first anniversary, and I was supposed to film a regular episode for October a week ago, but I caught some sort of autumn flu, as you do, and I was feeling a bit too under the weather to get a somewhat nice episode for you. So I had to postpone a bit, but here I am. It's the 4th of November today, I think, yeah. Which is crazy to me, like how are we in November? Sorry, I'm trying to bring up my Ravelry projects here as well so that I can double check my facts because I don't remember anything. So yeah, how does one start these? Maybe I'll start by chatting about what I'm wearing quickly here. I have on my Lost Northern Star Colorwork sweater. This came out in December last year and it was my special Christmas sweater. I have this little tradition of doing a Christmas sweater each year. It's not meant to be like really festive and like in your face Christmas, but it's a special sweater for me that I only start using at the Christmas time. So I have a special outfit for the Christmas festivities, and after that it's just a regular old sweater. Like I have worn this a ton. But yeah, it was my Christmas sweater last year. It's knit in sport weight. I used Ístex Fjallalopi, so the sport weight Icelandic wool for this one. It is definitely rustic. A lot of people would not enjoy this, I know that, but I don't mind it. I have a tank top underneath and I'm perfectly fine. It has these slightly puffy sleeves, so you work the sleeves straight until just before the cuff and then you decrease rapidly for the cuffs. And the body is somewhat cropped. I don't know if you could see that at all. Oh no, I have a shawl in my mug. It has this like Nordic themed colorwork yoke with antlers and stuff on there. It's worked in 3 colors, but I'm fairly sure there are no 3 color rounds. I try to, well yeah, actually there's 1 or 2 on the sleeves, but the yoke has none. I try to design my patterns in a way that there are not much 3 color work, and when there sometimes inevitably is, I try to make it so that you don't really have to catch long flows or anything, so that it's just mainly knitting. So I'm not a big fan of 3 color work. I have done it a bunch, but it's just not fun for me. It's something that you really, or I really want to get by fast, so I try to make my patterns as enjoyable to knit as possible for myself. Yeah. Actually, kind of segueing from this is that I don't have a Christmas sweater yet for this year, and we are in November. Like, there definitely won't be a Christmas sweater pattern in time for Christmas, that's a given at this point, but I still want to, or I'm hoping to still make something in time for Christmas. And it's definitely, like, time-wise it's doable, but I don't think I have yarn that I would like to use for that, so might be a bit scrunch for time. We'll see. Yeah, but that's that for what I'm wearing. I did publish a pattern last week, and I thought I would quickly show it on here as well. It's actually here behind me. I was trying to get it to straighten out a bit because I've had it on in the cabinet and it's been a bit scrunched up, or it's gotten a bit scrunched up. But this shawl is called Tesserae, and it was originally published in the Making Stories magazine issue 14, I believe, the final one that came out in June. That was called Forest Respite. Yeah, I got the rights back for it and it's now available as an individual pattern. I'm not gonna chat about this for too long. It's a triangle shawl worked in garter stitch and mosaic knitting here. I'm again looking past you to see what you're seeing. It's knit in Tukuwool Fingering, and for this sample I needed one skein of the light one and a tad bit over 2 skeins of the darker one. So if you want to be absolutely sure, you might want to have 3 skeins reserved, but I like things symmetrical, so this portion has the same amount of garter bumps as the bottom. But if you are not quite that bothered, you could just end it when you need to, because it was like a really, if I remember correctly, it was a tiny amount that I needed of the third one. So yeah, I am really, it does look a bit wrinkled there, but I'm really happy with this design. And if you dabbled into mosaic knitting with Just a Dreamer that I published last month, that is actually, you can probably see my mannequin friend over there that's wearing it. If you dabbled into mosaic knitting with that one, which was really simple, this would be a good next step. This pattern reminds me of the undergrowth in a forest, which is why I thought it was really appropriate for the prompt given for the magazine. But yeah, it was unfortunately the final episode or final issue of the magazine, and I know it was mostly sold through the pre-sale, so there wasn't that many available at the time that it actually came out, and I know a lot of people missed out on it, which is a bit of a shame, but things happen. So yeah, if you were looking forward to this, it is now available individually on Ravelry. Last time I had a ridiculous amount of whips for me, or an unusual amount of whips, works in progress. So this time I have a lot of finished objects, and I should actually, can I reach? check my podcast calendar to see what did I have actually. What was on the needles last time, because I can't remember. I had 3 works in progress last time. All 3 of them are finished, and a few other things as well. Because it's, in my defense, it's been over a month and these are quick-ish knits. Well, the ones that I finished aren't, but the ones that were rips last time aren't. They were quite long-term projects, but the things that I have done since then are quite quick. So, let's start with the big beast. I did finish, well, I have a ton of buttons to attach. I'm fine with almost every other finishing thing. I don't really like blocking, but it's because I really want to see the actual finished result. I tend to do it quite quick. But buttons, I put them on just before the photo shoots when I really have to. But yeah, this is the Plötulopi coat. And while I'm holding it like this, it's actually still touching the ground. Like, this is ridiculously long. Like, I have no freaking way of showing this to you. I have marked the button placement here because no one can be bothered counting the stitches. But yeah, I actually need to decide buttons for this one. I did order a bunch of new options from a sale because I have a surprisingly small button stash. Buttons are surprisingly expensive, like a surprisingly expensive part of the project. So I tend to hoard them when I can find a good offer or an affordable option. And where I avoid man-made fibers in yarn, I also avoid plastic buttons. So I tend to use metal or wood or coconut or antler. But yeah, well, obviously, because it doesn't have buttons, I haven't gotten finished photos of this one yet. I'm sort of waiting for like nice frosty weather. This autumn has been ridiculously warm. Like, we had frost one weekend and I wasn't free to take photos then, so yeah, now it's just kind of like a waiting game for the correct weather, because it's just grey and wet outside at the moment. It's been for a long while. But it's actually looking like a week from now we might be getting some snow even, maybe. So maybe we can get this photographed next week. I have like most of this stuff is still waiting for photos. But yeah, I'm gonna go more in depth into this whenever I decide to publish the pattern, which is again another problem I have, because as I said, this is a winter garment for me. But I mean, the pattern is basically ready for testing. But if I put it in the testing now, the earliest I would maybe be able to publish it would be like March. And I'm not sure if that's the correct time to publish something like this. Obviously, I've showed photos before. You can you can definitely work this shorter. And with a cropped version, it's definitely like season appropriate for spring, for sure. But because this is, I was kind of toying with the idea of making a second sample, a cropped one. Which I might still do because I kind of want that as well. But because this is still the main thing. I don't know if March is the correct time to publish something like this. So I might have to push this forward to next autumn. Let me know what you think about that. I could also just start the test now and have it go on forever. But in the past, I've noticed that the issue with like really long testing windows is that people tend to forget, or they think that they have, because they have a lot of time in the beginning. Like if the testing period is something like 9-8 months, which now it could be basically a year. It is, of course, it's really inclusive. It's makes the test available for a lot of people, but also people have this, in my experience, they tend to either just completely forget or they think that they have like infinite time and then the deadline somehow creeps up on them. So yeah, let me know what you think. If you are maybe interested in this pattern, if you have thoughts and ideas on when to publish it for it to make sense. But yeah, it started here in the middle of the back of the neck with the button band or the lining. No, it's not lining, the edging. And then you pick up stitches for the back of the neck and work the back with European shoulder construction, which you can kind of see the increased line there. And then you pick up stitches for the fronts and do a bit of shaping, and then you join it all together, and then you just knit stockinette for forever. There is a bit of A-line shaping in the body, but not that much. I have the buttons placed so that I'll add some notes about this in the pattern, so how you can modify the button placement to your preference. But I have placed the buttons so that there's 5 buttons. The top one is obviously at the point of the neckline. It has a V-neck, but the bottom one is sitting right at my hip, and then the rest is just open. So yeah, you can do more buttons if you want, but that's what I'm writing in the pattern. I really like this thing. Really happy with this one. Did I weigh it already? Or I did weigh it, but did I already mark it here so that I can tell you? This is Plötulopi held double, and I had 10 plates in total, and for the rib, the bottom hem ribbing, I had to dip into the final 2. Sorry, I'm still get a bit coffee when I'm chatting a lot. But yeah, so it does take quite a bit of yarn, but I will try to include some estimations for the shorter versions as well in the pattern. Or at least some pointers on how my size, which is size 6, so right slap bang in the middle of my size range. I'll include tips and notes on how much yarn I needed for whichever length. Then last time I also had the Colorwork yoke. Still on the needles, I'm trying to which way? This way. And this is done as well. You can't really see, it has a turtleneck. Colorwork yoke, and then I did actually almost run out of yarn, so I added a bit of colorwork and changed the color for the sleeve cuffs to have enough of the blacks, because I didn't want to have to order an extra ball just for that. This is knit with Easier Aran tweed. But yeah, it's my outdoorsy sweater. I made it intentionally quite roomy so that I can wear another sweater or something layering underneath. And yeah, I have some photos of this one already, so I'm gonna pop them here, but those are not the final ones either. We took enough that I can put this in testing whenever, and I'm probably publishing the pattern in February. The pattern is almost ready to go. I need to just calculate the yarn consumption or the requirements, and then I need to double check if I have this modification already in there or if I need to rewrite the sleeves, because I don't remember what I have done already. But yeah, I really like how this turned out. I was a bit circular yokes are still a bit of a mystery to me. I'm trying to improve the fit of them every time I design one, and I'm thinking they have gotten pretty good at this point. I have really enjoyed the fit of this one. Obviously that's also depending on your body type, your body shape, like how your shoulders are shaped and stuff like that, like what fits you. But I did some edits to my yoke spreadsheet for this one, because it is an oversized one, which makes it a bit more difficult to have it like oversized but not looking like you're drowning in it, or the yoke is not like wavy or something. And it worked quite nicely. So I'm pretty confident in this one. And obviously you don't have to make it with as much ease as I have. You can size down with the pattern if you are just wanting it for regular wear instead of the outdoorsy wear that I've had in mind. I still haven't gotten around, because I do have some leftovers, and I asked for ideas in the last one on what to do with them. I was toying with mittens or a beanie, but then there was an idea of a headband, and that is kind of tickling my brain at the moment, so I might do that, or I'll do the mittens, we'll see. But yeah, this is coming to testing really soon, or I'm trying to get it into testing really soon. I'm trying to also kind of space out my test knits, because I have the December patterns went to testing recently. I have them to show still here. I do want this into testing quite quickly so that there's a lot of time before February, but I don't want to put out like 6 test calls at once, so trying to schedule them out in a reasonable way. I'm trying to keep my voice going. This is no shade to anyone, but I had a comment in one of the earlier episodes. It was the first sort of, well, I don't know if it was meant as a negative comment, kind of felt like it, and I was in the end it just made me laugh, but I had a comment about how my energy and voice were like an old woman, like it was worded somehow something like, I don't know if you're maybe ill or something, but your sound and energy are like an old woman. And I was like, oh, maybe it's just how I am. It's my soul leaking through. I don't know. Honestly, it did not really bother me, but at first when I saw it like that there was something sort of negative, I was like, oh my god, like my first negative comment, but in the end sort of just amused me. If that was you, absolutely no shade, like it's fine. But it was just a bit of a random thing to say to someone. Next up, I had this headband on the needles in the last episode. I don't know if it will focus better if I cover my face. But this is the one with the stripes, very low contrast stripes and texture, and then I did this gabled knot thing here in the front. And honestly, I don't know if this will become a pattern. I'm not quite sure. So I have quite a few patterns lined up at the moment. So if it's coming, it's not anytime soon. But I'm not 100% sure if I'm happy with this. Like when I was knitting it, I was like, I don't know if this is turning out how I wanted it to. But it was also just easy to, like an on-the-go project for me, which I needed at the time. So it was completely fine if it was just for my own enjoyment. But yeah, I'm not 100% sure about it. I'm still wanting to use this stripy stitch pattern in something, but I'm not quite sure if this is it. This one is knit with Jalovilla Vuona, which is a fingering weight single ply Finnish wool. And I have these sort of heathery colors. I don't know how well it's picking it up, but it has this forest green and then I would call this a heather. Slightly purpley, pinkish, muted shade. But yeah, I don't have much more to say about this one. It is nice, it's cute, but I'm not sure if it's pattern worthy cute. You know, sometimes I have a long queue of things to knit in my mind, even though last time I chatted about not knowing what to cast on next. I do have a long queue, but they just don't have a definite timeline on when they need to be knit. But sometimes something just comes right out of left field and you need to cast on right away. And these are that. I got sucked in by a sale and I ordered Raumakaan Vams, which is I would maybe call this an Aran, but I think it's listed as bulky. Something along those lines. Quite thick, woolly Norwegian wool yarn. And I was looking at the shades that were still available at the sale. There wasn't a ton, but there was black and there was dark grey, and I was like, maybe a color. Like, you know, one of those dicky type things. So that's what I did. I'm showing it the right way, yeah. I had this idea of a prominently grey color or cowl section and then doing the rest black. And it's really not showing up great in this yarn, but I have a tiny textured like slip stitch gable detail here, and then there's some pearl stitches within the colorwork pattern as well for added interest. And this one I have photos of, so I will pop some here. Yeah, it's worked top down. You cast on with the corrugated ribbing and then you work down. There's some short row shaping to the cowl, as you can maybe see here, maybe not because it's black. And then you cast on stitches for the shoulder and work the two halves, and then I did add, like the front and back are in broken 2x2 ribbing, and I added the shaping in pattern here, so it has these quite neat lines here going on both the back and the front, and the back is a bit shorter. And then while I was knitting that, I realized that I had a full ball of the grey left over, and I thought I wanted to do something to match. And first I thought of a headband again, but then I realized I could do mittens, so that's what I did. And I did these while the color was still on the needles, so that I could use up however much yarn I needed for these, and then knit the rest of the black into the color. So I didn't have much left at all. I had 4 balls of black and 2 balls of grey. These have the same corrugated ribbing here, and then the zigzaggy, of course there's a hair, zigzaggy color work on the palm that switches the color for the top. And then I have, I don't know if you can see it at all, but here is I like to do, you know, the Indian thumb gusset goes like here, you increase along here, but I like to do it a bit like, in my mind this is a variation of it, but honestly it's something totally different. I have this straight line going here and the stitches are increasing out from that. And I feel like it's something a bit different, but it's also, it fits great. So yeah, now I have a little set. And I'm planning to publish both of these in December, which I think is a perfect time for a quick, thick accessory set. The cowl on this one is quite tall. I could have done it shorter, but I really like the look of the patterning. So I also, while I was taking photos, I'll pop some here, but you can also wear it like half tucked down like this. It's really, really warm and nice like this as well. But yeah, I have 3 sizes in both of these, but I'll chat a bit more about that when they actually come out. They are in testing now, and I think there is 1 slot left for the color in the biggest size. I hope I'm saying everything I should be. Then, in the last episode, when I was thinking of what to cast on, I was toying with the idea of a vest. And I managed to figure out the design that I wanted. And it's fresh off the blocking mats. Fresh off the blocking mats, ends are woven in but not cut. And again, no buttons yet. I wanted something quite rustic, and I think I got that. This one as well has the European shoulder construction, so you are working casting off stitches for the back of the neck and then increasing on both sides to get the full width of the back, and then working down and picking up stitches for the shoulders and stuff like that. For an added detail on the back, I did broken ribbing on the sides of that shoulder shaping. So it has these broken rib lines at the back shoulder, and they are running down along the armhole edges there all the way until the hem patterning. And then on the front I have the same broken rib details beside the bottom band here, as you can see. I actually had a bit of a false start on this vest. I had knit the back and picked up stitches for the first front piece, and then I was looking at it like, this isn't looking right. And I had thought that it would look better if it did not have this stockinette edge column here. Like it was garter, stockinette and garter, but no stockinette on the edge. And it just didn't look right. So I left it aside and I took a new ball and I recast on, and it is much better this way. Like you do need that clean line there. And also for the bottom gabling, these are gables, but they are not worked like in a traditional, they are not looking like braids. But yeah, I had made a swatch with the pattern, and from that I thought I had figured out what size I wanted to make the patterning. I was wrong. So I did start that once, worked like half of it, like the first two diagonal lines, and then I was looking at like, no, this isn't right, and I ripped that back and went with the original plan. But now I really like how it looks. And then on the hem again you have just a regular old broken rib and a broken rib button band with no buttons yet. I haven't tried this on after blocking. Maybe I should do that. Seeing it with you, so let's hope it looks good. Quite nice. Could be worse. I was a bit worried about the armhole depth, because I had not done anything quite like this before, and I wanted it pretty relaxed. Like the whole vibe was relaxed and rustic, and yeah, but I think it is actually looking quite nice. I did browse through some existing patterns and try to take like pointers on the armhole depth and stuff, like what looked similar to what I wanted. Now I just need to figure out how to wear and style this. But I do really like the result. And if I don't figure it out, I can always add sleeves. But yeah, I think this is a success. This one is knit in a DK weight recycled wool yarn from Pirtinge here in Finland. It has 70% new Finnish wool and 30% recycled wool, which gives it this nice slightly tweedy texture. I'm thinking this pattern will be coming out March or April. I'm not putting it in testing quite yet, even though the pattern is again almost ready to go. That is all my finished objects this time. And that being said, I don't have that many whips. I have the thing that I was knitting at the beginning of the episode while chatting, but I can't actually show it, introduce it any better, because it is a secret thing that will be featured in a publication later, so I'm not allowed to share any more of that. And this is the only other thing that I have on the needles. This is the very beginning of my intrinsic beanie. I think this is the 7th or 8th of them that I'm knitting, which is quite a lot for someone who does not usually repeat patterns, but intrinsic is one of those. This is number 8. Yes. Intrinsic is one of those, it's basically a vanilla beanie to me. And as you can tell, it's cast on from the crown, from the top of the head. This will be a Christmas present for my fiance, who I believe is not watching this. And if he is, don't tell me you know. But yeah, this is all I've done this far. This is also one of those things that I just needed something quick and easy to grab on the go, and that's how far I got. I'm making this with Tynn Bergynt by Sandnesgarn. Again, Norwegian wool, but this feels totally different than the Raumagarn Vams. I love how Vams felt. It has this really like airy and lofty and rusticy soft feel to it, and I'm really wanting to do something. I think Rauma has a DK-ish version of the same yarn, or like it's a similar yarn but a bit lighter, called Fivel. And I really want a garment in that if it feels that lovely. It really reminded me of Navia Duo, which is also one of my favorites, but not really available here in Finland anymore. But yeah, this is Norwegian wool as well, but this feels like a regular. This doesn't have that lofty, soft feel. I mean, it is soft, but it's not like hugging a sheep. And this one it's a fingering weight, 205 meters per 50 grams. And 50 grams is enough for a intrinsic hat. Especially because he, for some reason, has decided that he wants his beanies like short on top of his head. But yeah, I did that one previously, which I showed in the first episode of this podcast, that I had knit in Tukuwool Nordic resilk, and he's been wearing it a ton, so I thought he deserved another one. But yeah, I can't show the other thing on my needles, so that's everything that I have actively going on. But I wanted to chat about something. I have a swatch. And the swatch is for a shawl. I rarely swatch for a shawl, but this is I wanted to see how the construction actually works if I'm figuring it out correctly. And I did offer this for a publication, but it was not included, so now I need to figure out what I want to knit this with, because I really want to knit this. It would be big. Like, I want it to be quite a voluminous shawl scarf situation. The swatch is knit in the same Fjallalopi as this one, so this is sport weight. I'm thinking for the shawl maybe DK or like a very, very airy worsted, because it has these I hope you are seeing it, but these running slip stitch details, and I want them to somewhat stand out, so a bit of a thicker yarn would work better for that. But I don't know what yarn to do this with, so again, if you have any ideas, I would really love to hear them. I was thinking about the Tukuwool Nordic resilk that I mentioned already. I do have a bit of that left, so I could start swatching with that as well and see if it is like lofty, voluminous enough for what I'm going for. But this is one of the next things that I would like to cast on. That and the Christmas sweater. This will be quite a fun knit. It's quite simple shaping, but you do these two identical halves and then you seam them in a way that you have these running stitches here as well. That I wanted to show you. Do I have anything else that I wanted to chat about? I had a lot of actual knitting stuff today, so I don't think I'm gonna go into any other rambles today. I don't think. I thought in the next one I'm trying to film at the end of November again, or the beginning of December, because there's some fun things happening then. I'll try to get an episode out for you then as well. And I'm gonna be heading to the craft fair in Tampere here in a couple of weeks. I'll be there on Sunday, and I'm kind of hoping to find the Christmas sweater yarns there, which would leave me a bit over a month to actually figure out what I want to knit and knit it. But that's sometimes how it goes. Yeah, I'm headed to gonna go and pay the Tampere craft fair a quick visit. It's Europe's largest craft fair, so honestly you are a bit crunched on time with just one day, but I'm not a big fan of huge events like that, so it's quite enough for me. But yeah, I was thinking of doing an episode still in the end of November or early December, and I thought that in that one I could tell a bit more about my journey to here, like my crafting journey, how I ended up here, how I became a knitwear designer. So I'm thinking of doing that in the next episode. If you have any questions relating to that, leave those in the comments as well, because I would love to answer some if you have any specific things you'd like to know about. Oh, and one very important update. In the last episode, I was chatting about the car situation, and we were going to look at a car, and I was completely ready to like just give up if it didn't work out. But it did. I bought it, and now I have a car, and it's working and running fine. So all good on that front. I don't think I have any major other life updates at the moment. So I think I'll try to keep this short and sweet, even though I have no clue how long I've been filming at this point, so it may not be short at all. But at least I tried. There was quite a few finished objects, but they are all sort of long-term projects, like a bit of a ways down the line before any of those publications, except for the ones that are coming next month. So yeah, fingers crossed for better photo shoot weather. I would really appreciate some frost, but I could do with snow as well. I need something other than the grey and dull autumn, late autumn. Even the grey and dull is fine, but it's been raining, and that I will not do. But yeah, I think I'll leave you with that and get cracking on other things. Hopefully next time I have some sort of a Christmas sweater cast on to show you. Thank you all so much for watching and hanging out with me. I hope you enjoyed it. Please help me with the yarn choices and fire away with your questions if you have any about how I ended up here. And yeah, fire away in the comments, and I'll see you soon. Happy knitting! Bye bye!